Smith by Martin Z. William. Narrated by Martin Z. William. Prologue. I still don't understand, brother. His voice is low and rough. Why bring him to the mountains? My legs feel weak. We should have made camp earlier. I'm starving. I can't go on much longer. What is the point in this, brother? The sun set ages ago. I stop. The man complaining draws his sword and hits me in the back of the head with the hilt. I collapse. Why all of the effort for this useless kid? He screams. What is your obsession? Face first, I land in a pile of snow. It's cold, but I haven't eaten in days, and we've been trekking this mountain since first light. I don't even have enough strength to flip myself over and stop the snow from burning my skin. I hear scuffling. Enough with the incessant questions. We spoke of my intent before you squirmed your way into the middle of this. That sounds like Silas. I could care less if you turned back now and were devoured by the wolves undoubtedly tracking you and your ungodly scent. That being said, lay a hand on him again, and I will leave you half-cooked, hog-tied over an open fire for said wolves to rip you apart with ease. Got it? Silence. A wisp of wind fills the hush with a howl, followed by the crunch of hide boots on packed snow. The skin on my cheeks is starting to go numb. At least I can't feel the pain anymore. I try moving my arm. No luck. Get up. A hand grabs my worn-out robes and lifts me to my feet. That wouldn't be a very good way to die, kid. Silas is holding me up straight. His eyelashes are covered in frost, and he has dark circles around his eyes. He looks as exhausted as I feel. Krokov, his abusive, dim-witted brother, is standing further back with a look of sheer terror on his face. Maybe he'll keep his mouth shut for a little. It's not much further. Silas turns to look at Krokov. And the timing is perfect. Now, no more interruptions from either of you. Silas motions to follow him, then makes his way back to the path. It's taking all of the energy I have left in me to hold myself up, let alone take a step. I guess having a blade to your back can let you ignore all of your body's instincts and persevere. I wonder for how long, though, and to what extent I'd go to survive. Do you remember this place, Kravi? Silas sounds calmer than before. Yes, brother. And you remember why we were here last? Kravi's footsteps get heavier behind me. Kravi. Silas looks over his shoulder. How could I forget, brother? He sounds agitated. They glare at each other for a moment, then Silas looks straight ahead again. I don't like being between these two. The breeze starts to pick up as powdered flakes dance in the moonlight, scintillating in circles around the evergreen trees. Silas becomes less and less visible through the thick cloud of flurries. Brother, Krokov shouts. Slow down! I'm losing you! Hurry up! He jabs me with his sheathed sword. Brother! Krokov grabs me by the neck and starts charging forward. My feet dangle beneath me. He's squeezing so hard it feels like he's crushing my spine. Brother, I will leave this kid behind without a second thought. Somehow, he manages to grip tighter, nails digging through my skin. Brother! Suddenly, the flurries stop and the trees open up to a clear view of the sky. The stars are shining so brightly it seemed like time shifted to day in an instant. Sea green, pink, and yellow streaks wave through the darkness with a breath of their own. It's like the gods painted on this shimmering canvas with strokes of perfection. Standing below with his hand extended through the illuminations is Silas. Are you deaf, brother? Krokov slams me into the ground. I will carry your burden no longer. My body aches, head throbbing, stomach growling. There's a sharp pain in my chest. I think one of my ribs broke. I fear I'm starting to fade, every breath harder than the last. Maybe this is for the best. No more pain, no more worrying, no more Krokov. I close my eyes. Why do you insist on disobeying my every word, Kravi? He pauses. Bring the kid to me. No, Krokov exclaims. This act you wish to commit tampers with the memory of her. I will have no hand in it. Kravi, Silas says sympathetically. She continues to live on through my actions. It was her words that inspired me. You're wrong, brother. You may have twisted those words around enough to make this right in your head, but I cannot see it that way. I hear sobbing. This is Mama's grave, sacred ground. You will not pollute the soil of my roots, brother. Twigs crunch to my side as Krokov steps away. His footsteps grow quieter and quieter until they disappear behind a howling wolf in the distance. I lie on my back, gasping for air, consciousness slipping. Why was I brought here? What did he mean to pollute the soil? My eyelids flutter open. Silas is standing over me. Do you remember when we found you? You've been with us for quite some time now, kid. The memory is foggy. I was so young when it all happened. I remember thunder crashing, flashes of lightning through thick trees, the smell of blood, and the thumping of racing footsteps through puddles and mud. Someone was carrying me over their shoulder as I stared into the darkness they were running from. You might not, little as you were. I saved you. He kneels down next to me. Or so I thought. But maybe some things can't be changed. Maybe there are those destined for greatness, and there are those bound to a life of demise and misery. And no matter the effort, no matter the people extending their hands offering help, and no matter how many times they get up, they will always fall back down, again and again, dragging everyone with them into their pit of failure. He reaches out and touches my face with the back of his hand. His fingers are beet red. Unfortunately for you, kid, the stars seem to have written your fate with a cloud over your head. Tragedy, shortcomings, and mishaps follow you like an obedient dog. Silas grips my shoulder, then begins dragging me through the snow. He pulls me across the peak and sits me against a stone. I look out across the range. It's beautiful. I can see what seems like the whole world from here. Villages lit by torchlight, farmland, the river running through the middle of it all. I'm higher than the sky itself, and all around me are translucent colors shifting with the wind. It's a sight to behold, isn't it? He sits next to me. Our mama brought us here, after every winter passed. It's a dangerous trip, especially when we were only knee-high. But Mama would always say, to see this sight is a celebration of life. As I've aged, those words rang through my head. And the more time that passed, the more sense they would make. He looks away. I've witnessed those I called brothers massacred before me. I've charged into battle with over 100 men and women alongside me and came out the sole survivor. He exhales deeply. Life is so futile, and yet we fight. Some for justice, others for selfish endeavors. Most only fight because we've been told to, whatever the reason. Then there's those like you, fighting the odds, time and time again, dancing on the line of death, just to survive and struggle another day. Why? The air goes still. Mama was like you. Silas stands up. We watched her claw her way up, tooth and nail, just scratching the surface of a normal life, to die before she ever got to enjoy what all of her effort was for. He lowers his right arm and rests his hand on his sword, then turns to look at me. I had always wished I could save her. At the very least, put an end to her suffering. Alas, there was nothing I could do. She drew her last breath at this exact spot, the same place she would consider life itself. His eyes fill with tears. In her final moments, she spoke these words. If I could not have a life worth living, at least I could find a death worth dying. She smiled and looked into my eyes, and her hand went limp, and she was gone. Not long after, you showed up. He draws his blade slowly until the ting pierces the night sky and echoes onward. The curve of his metal matches that of the waxing moon behind him. The steel shimmers in the moonlight, reflecting a blinding ray across my face. My vision gets blurry as various colors scatter to the corners of my eyes. You see, kid, you're a lost cause. Silas puts the edge of his sword against my nose. I wanted to believe there was hope for you. But after that last stunt you pulled, you should already be dead. Silas grips the handle tightly. Sweat runs down his face and his veins are popping out of his skin. He raises his talwar over his head, takes a deep breath in, and starts to swing toward my neck. So this is what Krokov meant by polluting the soil? Silas was planning on killing me the whole time? My heart begins thumping out of my chest. This is the end. Executed, defenseless, and injured on the tip of this mountain by the man who protected me for most of my life. I close my eyes. Memories flood my mind chaotically. Vivid images as if I were reliving every moment I endured in an instant. I see flashes of mining veins of various ores with all of the other children. I hear Krokov shouting orders profusely. I taste the stew that they served us at sunup and sundown. Once, Krokov was upset, and he beat me until Silas stepped in and took a blow to the face meant for me. After that, I didn't see Krokov for a fortnight. I feel the cold slate beneath my back as I lie on the longhouse where all the kids slept, countless faces changing with every blink. I had forgotten most of them existed. Where did they all go? Was this their fate as well? Fight. A man I don't recognize lays dying in front of me. I smell smoke and can see a village ablaze in the distance. He reaches out to me, his hand covered in blood and dirt. I grab hold of one of his fingers with my whole hand. Never stop fighting. Suddenly, a surge stronger than lightning sends a jolt through my entire body. My eyelids burst open and I throw myself to the ground just before the sword hits me. Silas's blade clangs against the stone he rested me on with so much force it splits in two. The crash rings out louder than a pickaxe striking iron in a cave. Why did he use so much force? A swing with half that strength would have taken my head clean off. Why? Silas screams to the heavens and drops to his knees. Why? Why? I roll over and spring to my feet with a newfound energy. I need to get away, quickly. I look around. There's only one pathway down the peak. Every other direction is a cliff. Maybe if I'm quick enough, I can get around Silas and make a run for it. Brother! Krokov storms up the only path and stops at the opening. Are you all right? So much for the easy way. I turn to look at the ledge behind me. My head spins as I stare into the darkness below. It's not a straight drop. There's enough of a slope I could try sliding carefully, but a cloud covers my view of the next landing. There's no telling how far down it is. Why would you refuse my gift? Silas growls. Can't you see what I offer? Accept your fate. There's nowhere to go. He stands up and takes a step toward me. I've never seen such a menacing face, especially on Silas. His glare is so sharp it could cut through mountains, and his snarl belongs to a rabid wolf. He's terrifying. Rushing in behind him is Krokov, sword drawn, eyes set on me. My hair flails in the spastic winds as I look over my shoulder again at the plunge downward. There's a small chance I could survive this way. I turn back to the brothers closing in quickly. It's certain death. There's no more time to think about it. I need to act now. I spin around, crouch down, putting my hand in the snow, then twist my feet sideways and drop off the ledge. Are you mad? Silas shouts. No way you survived that fall, kid. Even if you do, you'll shatter every bone in your body and bleed out shortly after. I'll make sure of it. I hear inaudible mumbles as I get further away. Vibrations are shaking me so much my teeth are chattering. Rocks and debris rumble beneath my boots. I'm moving faster than I anticipated. I can't control my speed at all. I try digging the sides of my heels into the ground more and more, but it's not helping. My back lays nearly flat against the tracks my feet are leaving. There's nowhere to grab with my hand either. Even if there was, it's completely iced over, and at the rate I'm picking up speed, it'd be impossible to grip something. I've nearly made it to the cloud that was blocking my view of what's to come. I can only hope this leads to a smooth landing. In a flash, I'm completely engulfed within the thick fog of the sky. I had always imagined how they felt staring up from way down below. I wondered if they were as soft as they appeared. But as I slide my way into this massive cloud, it's completely textureless. I pass through it as if it weren't real. And as quickly as I enter the cloud, I shoot straight out the bottom to see what lies beneath. Deeper and deeper, I dig my heels into the layers of ice and snow. I'm heading directly for a lip that I might be able to catch myself on if I can manage to slow down enough. Beyond the lip, I can see the top of the forest, trees that usually tower over everything, and now I'm above them, racing into a straight plummet down. I need to use all of my strength and dig myself in as much as possible. I can't die now. Not after evading death so many times in only 5 nights. Not like this. With all of my might, I slam my boots into the earth, sending ripples in every direction. I shatter through the thickest layer of ice and start catching traction. I feel myself start to slow down, but I don't know if it's enough. I can't give up, though. If this fails, then Silas was probably right. I'll break every bone in my body. So this has to work. Little by little, I'm losing speed and also closing in on the lip. When suddenly, all around me, tidal waves of snow start rushing past and fly off the cliffside, leaving an explosion of powder. I'm getting caught in the force of it as it builds momentum. I brace myself for the impact of hitting the lip. Knees bent, feet out, deep breath in. I close my eyes. My boots plant firmly on the ledge. I did it! I managed to slow myself down enough to land safely on the side of this mountain. Right. Damn. Out of the frying pan and into the fire, as they say. Mounds of snow continue piling over the edge like an overflowing flagon. I'm pressing against the mountainside as tightly as possible to not get swept away. My clothes are soaked through and through, head to toe, and the wind is so brutal it's slashing through me like a sharpened dagger. There's little room to move, and I can't withstand these harsh conditions much longer. I need to think. All at once, the largest pile of hurtling avalanche smacks me in the back and sends me flying over the ledge. There was so much power it felt like being caught in the current of a rampant river, and it flung me so far out there's no way I could reach anything to latch on to. Not only am I falling, but I'm somersaulting through the open air like a thrown hatchet. I need to level out and try to control my fall. I begin twisting myself in the opposite direction I'm spinning and stretch out my arm and legs. With enough resistance, I should be able to level myself out. I keep twisting and twisting until I'm finally staring straight down, with the ground racing at me. It looks like all of the snow has been building up in a giant hill beneath me. Maybe it's enough of a cushion that it would break my fall. It might be my only hope. I flip myself over and look at the stars for what may be the last time. I close my eyes. Thump. Everything is dark. I'm still breathing. There's a light. It's getting brighter and brighter and brighter. I breathe in.